Hello folks, it's Gordon here. I hope all is well with you. And this video I've called Depression and the Power of the Nothing Thought. And it's something I've spoken about before. I thought I'd speak about it today because it follows on from the video I did yesterday, and today is hashtag World Mental Health Day. You get normal people who say, well, every day should be Mental Health Day and it shouldn't have to be a Mental Health Day. Well, yeah, true enough, but nevertheless there is, because people who have had no experience of mental health or don't understand it, maybe they will understand a broken finger or a broken leg, something physical, but because mental health is often hidden, people dismiss it and are less aware of it, which is why we have things like Mental Health Awareness Day and Mental Health Month and all this kind of thing. I don't mind it at all. Now, yesterday's video was called The Cheerful Choice, about how being cheerful is a choice of your mental energy. But you can't be cheerful all the time. And I said yesterday, I'm not cheerful all the time. Of course I'm not. I've been at the bleakest of the bleak, which brings me on to today about the depression and the power of the nothing thought, because there are lots of different types of mental health, clearly. I talk about depression because it's something that I've had experience of, so I can only talk from my own experience. And when it first happened to me, I had unhappy thoughts, anguished thoughts, sad thoughts, and I thought, oh, you know, I'm unhappy about that. It had happened before. People are unhappy about things in life, and what I would do, what always used to work for me and what works for most people, is that you accept it and you think it away with happy thoughts. You maybe focus on the positive and it forces the negative away effectively. But that didn't work in this case for me. And this was nearly 25 years ago that it happened to me. And then you get into this cycle of a fight or flight and adrenaline, because when you try and force away the negative thoughts and the sadness and it doesn't work, you then start to think, well, hang on, why has that not worked? And it releases adrenaline. And then you try and force that away. You actually try harder to force the adrenaline surge away along with the happy thoughts, along with the sad thoughts, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, carries on not working, which releases more adrenaline. And you actually end up with the tangle of sad and unhappy thoughts and a constant adrenaline rush 24 hours a day. Now that leaves you in problems. I can tell you, I actually thought I was going insane. I actually wondered, I thought, oh, I don't know what's happening to me here. And it doesn't matter how much other people want to help you or want to support you. If they don't know the situation or they don't know what's happening to you inside, there's only a certain amount that they can do to help, even if they want to help. And this is where the nothing thought comes in, because your brain, this is what happened to me, so I'll say my brain got overwhelmed with all the neurons and electrical activity firing off. And actually, everything starts to go numb, because you start to think, oh, I should listen to music I like. That'll cheer me up. I should watch movies that I like. That'll help. I should do some art that I like, watch some comedy. That'll help. It just makes it worse. Makes it worse. So you don't want to listen to the music you like. You don't want to watch movies that you like. That's you start pushing away the things that you know you like, and that makes it worse. And then eventually you start getting into giving up territory. Everything starts to go numb and you end up with a bit of a nothingness, a grey bleakness. In fact, I would call it a dark bleakness. And then you start getting to the stage where you don't want to wake up in the morning. And I got to the edge of the abyss, at the bleakest of the bleak, and I got one piece of advice from someone whose advice I listened to, and he said, you need to go to your doctor immediately. You need to go and make an appointment with the GP immediately, which I did, and I ended up getting treatment, which was a combination of talk therapy and chemical therapy. But here's the key. It's why I call it depression and the power of the nothing thought. Because you might think, when I'm talking about, oh, everything gets nothing, everything gets numbed down to a black, dark bleakness, that's not a particularly powerful nothing thought. But actually, the nothing thought is the way back out of it, or it's part of the way back out of it. It certainly was for me. And here's what I mean. Because you've got this tangle of thoughts and the adrenaline rush, which takes you down and down and down, because eventually your brain can't cope with that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you just want it to stop, is the end point. What helps you get out of it, and I learned this technique as part of the talk therapy, as part of my recovery, is what I now call a classic technique and a well-known technique. I didn't know it at the time, but since I found out about it and started using it, it is hugely powerful. And here it is. When you get the tangle of thoughts and the sadness and the adrenaline, instead of trying to force it away, instead of trying to replace it, instead of trying to get upset about it and wonder why it's there, what you do is you acknowledge and accept it. And I use the analogy, which always worked for me, of a passing cloud. As the cloud passes along, you don't try and think, I'm going to try and force that cloud away. You don't think, oh, I wish that cloud wasn't there. You don't think, oh, why is that cloud not there? What you do is you think, oh, there's a cloud. And what the clouds generally tend to do is they pass, don't they? So you think, oh, there's a cloud, and think no more than that. You don't engage with the cloud. You acknowledge the cloud. You don't try and pretend that the cloud isn't there, but you acknowledge it and you think, oh yeah, there's the cloud. It is going to go away. And it's the same with the thoughts. So when you get the anguish, the jumble of thoughts, you get yourself in the present and you think, yeah, okay, there's a horrendous thought. There's a nasty thought, but it is a thought about the past or it's a thought about the future. You just accept it as a thought. You don't have to engage with it. You don't have to believe it's true. You don't have to battle with it, but you do acknowledge it's there. You don't pretend that it isn't there. Well, what that means is your response to this anguish and those thoughts is just to acknowledge it and nothing else. And what that does is it gives your brain the absolutely vital thing it needs: peace, quiet, and time to just start to reset itself. It gives your brain the peace, the quiet, and the time, and it stops the adrenaline rush, or it helps to lessen the adrenaline rush, which is key. Because once that adrenaline rush starts to lessen, you then start to feel your shoulders relax. You start to feel everything relax. The tenseness is ratcheted down. The power of the nothing thought. You don't have to try and find a solution at that stage in the recovery. Solutions are not the answer. What you need is this calm, this relaxation, which doesn't come from the maelstrom of trying to find the answers. The power of the nothing thought. Hugely, hugely powerful, and a massive component of me coming back from the edge of the abyss 25 years ago. And when I've had a couple of relapses since, which I have had, nothing bad and nothing like as bad as the first time, because the first time it happened to you, as I say, I actually thought I was going insane because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was happening to me. Knowledge is power. Once you know what's happening and you know the techniques to get back out of it, when it happens the next time, you think, I know what's happening here. And you can use the power of the nothing thought by thinking, oh yeah, there's a bit of a black wave coming over me. I can feel it. I can feel a bit of an adrenaline surge. I can feel the tightness in my head. Then what I do is employ the power of the nothing thought, and I do what I call battening down the hatches, which is to not fight it, to not deny it, just to acknowledge it, accept it, and let it pass. Hugely beneficial to me, which is why I talk about it a lot. It's why I talk about it a lot when it comes to things like World Mental Health Day, if I can say it, when it comes to things like World Mental Health Day, I will talk about something like that. When it comes to Mental Health Month, I will talk about that. I've used that subject, depression and the power of the nothing thought, for many years. I did a series of 3 videos about depression, and I think that's the most powerful of the 3 that I did. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you can relate to that, if you've experienced that kind of mental health issue, if you can relate to the power of the nothing thought to help get you back from the dark numbness. And if you've been lucky enough to never been touched by mental health problems, particularly in the area of depression, I understand there are many other areas of mental health, but that's what I'm talking about. If you've been lucky enough to never been touched by that area of mental health, does it make sense to you? So that if you're in contact, someone in your loved ones or in your family or your friends or your work colleagues has got depression or says they've got depression, and you would like to help them, maybe the power of the nothing thought is something that you can employ, steer them towards. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a medical professional in any capacity. I have no qualifications in that area. But what I do have is the story of what happened to me and what helped me. So that makes it valuable, I think. Okay, looking forward to your thoughts. Love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Wishing you, as ever, health and happiness. I'll speak to you again soon.